Our law firm has handled lots of speeding tickets, thousands of them here in Illinois over the years, and I can tell you one thing for sure, that all speeding tickets are not the same. Let me break it down for you. First, we've got what we call your petty speeding ticket. This is just a traffic ticket. It is not a criminal offense. And this is what you have when you are cited with going between 1 and 25 miles an hour over the speed limit. So just pull out your ticket and do the math, right? How fast did they say you were going versus how fast the speed limit was? If it is between 1 and 25 miles an hour, then you've got a petty traffic ticket. And this is the lowest level, generally speaking, the lowest level of speeding ticket here in Illinois. It's not criminal. It can affect your license in the sense that like conviction can go on your record. Points are associated with that. It could affect your insurance rates. Conviction, can get reported to your insurance, and your insurance can adjust your premiums based on that. And yeah, technically, if you get enough of these tickets, then it can suspend your driver's license. So there is absolutely an effect on you, or can have an effect on you. But let's keep it in context. It is still just a traffic ticket. You're not going to jail for this. All right, now one level up from there is what we call a Class B misdemeanor, an aggravated speeding ticket. And this is a misdemeanor. This one is a criminal offense. And if you are going between 26 and 34 miles an hour over the speed limit, that's what you got. You've got a criminal charge, a Class B misdemeanor. The maximum penalty for this is up to 6 months in jail and $1,500 in fines. And again, it can affect all those same things. It's a traffic ticket, but at a criminal level, if that makes any sense. So it affects all those same things, your license, your insurance, points on your record, stuff like that. But also a conviction for this goes on your criminal record. And so, yes, it could show up in background checks. And that's a big deal to a lot of people, right, who wish to maintain a criminal-free background. So that's a Class B misdemeanor, but there is one level above that. That's a Class A misdemeanor. That's the highest level of misdemeanor here in Illinois. And it's actually the equivalent in terms of category as like reckless driving, even as a misdemeanor DUI. Or like retail theft, right? Like stealing from a store, like pretty, serious things, right? A battery, right? Punching somebody. Those typically are Class A misdemeanors, and so is this speeding ticket. So, in that context, a pretty big deal. And you are cited with that when you're going 35 miles or more above the speed limit. Doesn't matter if the speed limit is 20 or 70. If it's 35 or more above the speed limit, you've got yourself a Class A misdemeanor. The penalty for that is up to $2,500 plus. Technically, you can go to jail for up to 1 year, 364 days in jail for this speeding ticket. Most people don't go to jail for a speeding ticket, even a Class A. The highest ticket I've handled is 167 miles an hour, and that person did not go to jail. You may argue that they should have, but they did not go to jail, even for that ticket. So lawyers try to scare people into like hiring them and telling them they need a lawyer. Say, you can go up to jail for a year for this. Chances are you are not, just statistically speaking, you are probably not going to see the inside of a jail for your speeding ticket here in Illinois, at least in the areas we practice in Chicagoland. But I have had people go to jail. I mean, those people have terrible records and really fast. So while it is possible, generally speaking, it is not probable. And so unfortunately, I do see lawyers scare people into that. It's just not a tactic I take. Instead, I think the reason to hire a lawyer is because you want to protect your record and get the best outcome possible, even if you don't think you're going to go to jail. So what are those factors that say like, you might go to jail for this? Well, number one is having a terrible record. Like I've dealt with people that have 15 aggravated speeding tickets, right? Like over the years. And that's just a bad look. Like that's a chronic habitual speeder. Something really, really fast. Like I told you that 167 miles an hour. I thought that person may see the inside of jail. And crazy, crazy fast, especially if it's in relation to the speed limit, right? If you're going 100 miles an hour on a residential street where kids are out there playing, boy, oh boy, I'm worried for you. right? So the serious, not only is your background at play here, but also the seriousness of the circumstances of the ticket itself. And then there's sort of this whole thing that I would just generally call like modifiers of speeding tickets. And those would be like speeding in a school zone or a construction zone. It's like where you were speeding. Up to this point, we've only talked about how fast you were speeding. But if it's in a school zone or a construction zone, where you were speeding matters, right? Were there workers present in that construction zone? Those are sort of modifiers of these tickets. And it could be a modification to any one of those. It could be a petty ticket in a construction zone. It could be a Class B misdemeanor speeding ticket in a school zone. It could be a Class A in a construction zone with workers, or Class A in a school zone. And so these modifiers change what the potential outcomes will be, right? Like it's worse to have your ticket in a school zone or construction zone. And so the penalties for those can be higher. The minimum fines can be higher. The points assessed with those can be higher. And the ultimate outcomes that are available for you can be different. Like you may not be eligible for supervision, right? Depending on those circumstances. So generally speaking, if you have a ticket in a construction zone or a school zone, you're probably going to save yourself a lot of gray hair by hiring a lawyer. So when we're talking about these criminal offenses, the Class B or the Class A misdemeanor, you want a lawyer. Like, do you need a lawyer? I mean, sure, there are people that go into court and handle it themselves. I would argue they often get a worse outcome. I literally see that while standing in court. So I would recommend to anyone, I'd recommend to my own mother to get a lawyer for her speeding ticket. Mom, slow down, by the way. I would recommend to anyone that I cared about to get a lawyer for a Class B or Class A misdemeanor speeding ticket. The question comes in then, well, what about the petty tickets? What about the 1 to 25? And that's a different answer. Many times with those tickets, the court allows you to essentially mail it in and plead guilty and request court supervision. And that, depending on who you are and what your circumstances are, that may be a perfectly fine outcome. For example, if you don't have a CDL, you don't have a commercial driver's license, and you never get a ticket, and they caught you, out down the street from your house going 10 miles an hour, I would tell you probably don't need to hire a lawyer. Just go request the court supervision and complete that. However, there are many circumstances where you are better off hiring a lawyer when you have a petty traffic ticket. Those circumstances are, number one, if you have a CDL, a commercial driver's license, you should not go any other route than hiring a lawyer to help you. The other one is if you've gotten a couple tickets, right? You don't have the greatest background. You've gotten a few tickets recently. Well, now you're at risk, right? You're at thin ice. So hiring a lawyer can be a huge advantage. The next one is if you just didn't do it, right? Like I got this ticket, I didn't do it. I want to fight it in court. I want to prove my innocence. Obviously, you're probably going to have a better time doing that, an easier time doing that with a lawyer representing you than going in and trying to hack it on your own. The next reason would be like if you got multiple tickets at the same time. This is very common. You got the speeding ticket, the petty speeding ticket, but you also got one for not having insurance, or your registration or your license weren't updated, or you got improper lane usage, right? Or, you ran the stop sign as well. You got sort of a slew of tickets. You're required to be in court then. You may want to consider hiring a lawyer. You could go handle it yourself, but again, typically you're going to have an easier time, and you may not even have to go. Our law firm can go for you. You don't even have to step foot into court. You can go on vacation or go to work or do whatever it is you want to do and just let us handle it and be assured that, you've got a law firm that's done tens of thousands of traffic tickets representing you, and you don't have to deal with it. That's another really common reason that we see people hire us for their petty traffic ticket. So I feel like we've walked through all the different scenarios here of a speeding ticket, and if you pull your ticket up and sort of follow along, you kind of know what category you fit into. And to me, it's pretty clear should you hire a lawyer or not based on your category and your circumstances. But if it's at all unclear, we're of course happy to talk with you specifically and walk you through this situation. And my promise to you is we will shoot you straight. I tell people all the time, you don't really need me. Save it. You don't need a lawyer. But when you do, I will also tell you that you do, and you would benefit from that. So if you're at all unclear, give us a call and we'll walk you through it. Thanks for watching.